And we're live. Welcome, everybody. I think we're on episode 13, and we have a new guest with us. He's going to be a permanent fixture on our show, and we want to excuse Alton. He's feeling a little bit under the weather today, but he'll be back with us next week. So, anyways, I'm Scott. I'm Dumpster Driver Dad.
And I'm Brian, Texas Treasures.
And I'm Mike, Flipping Goodies.
Well, welcome, Mike. How's it going?
It's going very well, Scott. Thank you.
Yeah. Why don't you introduce yourself for people that don't know you and want to find you? You can let them know how to find you too.
It's the way you can't find me, I guess. I am a part-time reseller. Started off maybe it's like 2.5 years now. Started off like everybody else, eBay. Worked eBay for a while, learned the ins and outs of it, and like most people say, I've been selling on eBay for a long time. Way back to the money orders and taking 30 days to get your item and stuff like that, up till now. But I never did it like real, like item here, item there, so forth and so on. 2.5 years ago, I got serious about it and started listing. And like everybody else, you'd start searching YouTube, find out some information, and normally it's a lot of clothing gets thrown at you and stuff like that. But I love electronics, so that's where I concentrate on. So as of today, if you were to ask me today, compared to where I was when I first started, okay, I would have never thought, if you would ask me 1,000 things that I would have been selling, I would have never, ever told you that one of those things that I would be selling is grocery items. Okay. And that's how my business has transformed. So I do a lot of that stuff on Walmart and Amazon. So that's, focused there. And then I'm a big Shopify person. I love Shopify. Keeps track of all your inventory. It's great to use. It's simple. Hopefully we can do some stuff on that in the future.
Yep.
Show people how it all works, what it's there for, and so forth and so on. So right now I sell on, you want a rundown?
Yep.
Okay. And I'll probably miss one or something like that. So we're on eBay, Amazon, Walmart, Mercari, Facebook Shop, and Facebook Marketplace. It's two different entities that work together. Okay. I'm on TikTok, Twitter, Google Shopping. I think that's it. Hold on one second. Did I forget one?
No Mercari, no Poshmark, no.
Mercari. I have Mercari. And then, of course, you have flippinggoodies.com.
Very good. And I guess the obvious question is, how do you keep track of all those different entities? You got to, every once in a while I saw something on eBay and then forget to take it off Facebook. So how do you keep track of everything?
So Shopify integrates everything together except Mercari and Poshmark. Okay. Those are the only two platforms that's not on Shopify. Will they ever be there? I don't know. I can't answer that. I've spoken and asked them about it, and they said it's not in their future, but who knows? Because people do develop apps to work with Shopify.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I got into Shopify really is once I got approved to sell on Walmart. Walmart doesn't have an app. It doesn't have like, Seller Central where you have an app on your phone. You can look up prices, all that. There is no app. There's also no shipping on Walmart. So you have to third party that. And they recommended Shopify, and they have an app for Shopify, which integrates all your listings there. You push them over and they're up for sale on Walmart. So Shopify, not only do I just list on Shopify and then push out to all the platforms I'm able to push out to, if let's say I have one item, which nowadays I do still have one-offs, but a lot of stuff I'm doing lately is a lot of multiple items. But let's just say it's a one-off, right? Let's say it's a Xbox 360, right? If I want to list that to eBay, Facebook Shop, Facebook Marketplace, Google, stuff like that, I can't obviously list it on Walmart because Walmart's strictly all new.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I can list it on Amazon. I never really looked into it. I think I'm ungated, but I'm not 100% sure. So in there, all you do is check off where you want to push it to. and most of it automatically pushes except for eBay and Amazon. You got to go in and set up, because like on Amazon, it's going to ask you for the ASIN, so you got to add the ASIN to the listing, and then it pushes over there. So let's say that item that we're talking about sells on, pick a platform, any platform.
Let's do eBay.
Let's say eBay. Okay.
Yep.
So it sells on eBay. Now I don't have to go running around taking it off all the platforms. Shopify automatically takes it off for me. So if I'm sleeping and something sells, I can't double sell that when I wake up in the morning. It's already gone.
Okay.
So it's not for sale anymore on those sites. Now, when you do multiple quantities, let's say you have 10 and one sells on one platform, it lowers your count on every platform to 9. So it's pretty seamless. It does take quite it's quite the undertaking to get it all set up and running. It took me a couple months to do everything and get it all working, fine-tuned and all that. But overall, if people ask me what the best platform to use is, I would recommend Shopify. And I've tried GoDaddy, Wix. I just think that Shopify is really based for this. And in further expansion later down the road, I think they're set up to be, one of the more powerful ones to use, in my opinion.
Now, you just did a video on YouTube about picking up a whole bunch of electronics. I know you specialize in that. Tell us a little bit how you specialize in vintage and newer electronics, and what you look for when you do that.
Well, over the last couple of years, I've been able to develop contacts that call me when they have inventory. So I'm dealing with one guy right now where, I think it was 2 weeks ago, I went over there and paid $100 for, don't quote me on this, it was like 4 PlayStation 3s. 2 of them were backwards compatible. So if you know what backwards compatible are, they go sky high. You're looking at $200-$300 for the console. I got a Nintendo 64, 2 or 3 Wiis, some Xbox 360s, like 2 Xbox Ones, ton of controllers, games, you name it, okay, for $100. So I went over there the other day and I spent $250 with him, the same guy. And I'll do a video if he's okay with it. I'll do a video and you'll see what I'm able to pick through. It's literally, it's a shed that's probably 40 by 30. Then his house is loaded. Then he has another building down the road that's like, I think it's about 40 by 80. Just jam-packed. You could barely even walk in the place. All kinds of stereo equipment, video equipment, you name it, he's got it. He's got probably 3,000 remotes sitting there, which I'm trying to buy from him, but he doesn't seem to want to sell those, It's just a ton of stuff. It's like, I have to go Sunday and I'm picking up anywhere between, I'm not sure the count, so I don't want to, get too gung ho about it. I did a brief count today. I was at 37, and that didn't include 2 of his storage places. So I'm thinking I'll be picking up anywhere from 70 to 100 DVD VCRs this weekend.
Hey, Mike. So you mentioned like you've developed sources over time, and I know people that are listening to the podcast that's a goal for a lot of people, and I know it takes time, and typically you have to be focused in a certain area. But is there any general advice maybe you could give the listeners or the viewers on how you can develop these contacts over time?
My best source is making friends with the people that run the estate sales. I have multiple estate sales that will call me. I've been in estate sales 2 weeks ahead of time prior to the estate sale and just go and cherry pick the whole place. So in my area, if it's my contact, which most of them are, it's usually cherry picked by me already by the time you get there. Okay. Now, I'm not saying I buy everything there because I don't really mess with a lot with clothing and stuff of that nature. So you'd be able to find out. But any type of high-end electronics, that's already up for sale on eBay by the time the estate sale hits the opening door. So those people there are great to work with. Now, mind you, you can't be greedy on this. You have to pay up a little bit more because you're getting in front of everybody. So you might overall sometimes pay just a little bit more. But like the one person I work real close with, like we're always on target with each other. Like she'll be like, how much? And I'm like, I'm thinking 8. And she'll be like, well, I was at 9. And we're like, all right, 850. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So we're usually right in the ballpark with each other. We know, she knows what I do. She knows that I'm a buyer every time I walk in the building. So it's a, you know, give and take. And she won't even call me. Like she'll have estate sales where it's like strictly furniture and clothing. And she won't even call me because she knows I have no interest in it. So, you know, building those relationships there are super important. You know,
So when you built that over time, but like if you're just wanting to begin to cultivate those relationships, would it be something as simple as, you know, consistently going to estate sales, being friendly, like you said, not like what does that look like from the beginning?
Yeah, have a business card. Don't walk in and say like your prices are insane. You know what I'm saying? Don't be rude like that. If you're not happy with the prices, here's the bottom line, and I hear it all the time, right? And I'm okay with this. If I go to an estate sale, they need to make money, right? They're not there to give me stuff so I can go online and get it, you know, and sell it for 10 times what I paid for it. So I don't mind to give and take a little bit. And some deals, like this guy I worked with the electronics, I paid up the first time I walked in his building, knowing that his building was basically my supply house, you know? So over the last few buys, I've been lowering and lowering my price every time. And he's been okay with it because he knows that originally I paid up front because he doesn't know me. You know, he has no idea if I'm ever going to come back again. So he wants to make as much as he can up front with me. And if I never show up again, he's no skin off his back. But as I've gone and gone and gone, it seems to have worked in my favor now, when I'm getting the prices that I would want to get and buy in big bulk.
So at this point, he can count on you because you're reliable, you're consistent, and you're both serving each other's needs in a way. So it's a mutual, like business to business setup.
And the other thing is, I've walked out of the estate sales without paying because I'm at work normally when they call me, and I'll run over there. I'll take the stuff, and I'll be like, all right, I owe you $700, and I'll walk out with all the stuff and sell it. By the time I sell it, I'll see her again. I'll pay her her money. She always gets her money. She knows she's going to get it. I'm not going to stiff her on this. Or same thing with him the other day. When I picked up the stuff for $250, I only had $150 on me. So I gave him $150. I said, I owe you $100. Now I have to swing by today and give him his other $100, but you have to be legit. You know, you don't want to get that reputation. So once you build that relationship, then you start working and trying to twist it to your favor.
So you have these relationships, and then you sort of took your business to the next level. I think a lot of people want to do that. They get tired of sourcing every day, get tired of going out and doing the grind of going to Goodwills and estate sales and stuff like that. And so it's all about relationships. Is that basically what you're trying to say?
For me, where I live, it is because it's a smaller town, I guess you would say, where I live. So being able to get into places first, or, a phone call here, or, I've actually had people call me and like, Mike, you bought some stuff off of my neighbor. I have some stuff here. You mind come over, take a look? Once you start the network like that, it expands. So for me, I carry my business cards with me everywhere I go. If I go out of town, I have them with me. Like if I go with my son lives in Orlando. It's on the other side of Florida for me. If I go over there and I go sourcing over there, I want to have my business cards with me because you never know. They may call me and say, hey, I have this. I have my son there. I can have him go pick it up, even though, I'm an hour and a half away, but he's 5 minutes away. So he can run over, pick it up for me, pay for it, and I'll just get it from him when I see him. So everything to me is worth it. But as I scale, I'm becoming more wholesale, trying to buy wholesale stuff. So have the inventory come to me is ideal.
And I know I'm part-time, Brian's full-time. Are you full-time, or do you have another job?
Yeah, I'm
how are you doing this? I think you mentioned it earlier, but go ahead and tell everybody on.
Yeah, I'm part-time.
You're part-time.
If you want to call it part-time.
Mm-hmm.
Come home from work and work here for 6-7 hours a night. But yeah.
Definitely. And how many listings, how many items do you put up a day, or do you have a goal? Or
I don't believe in that. I believe that if you have the right items, they're going to sell regardless of what you're doing. But I do list. I don't have a set goal every day. Like right now I have 925 listings.
Nice. Now, what now let's get into the part of what you're looking for. As far as I know you do the high-end electronics. I know you mentioned in some of your other videos. Can you tell everybody what you look for? Any name brands to look for? Any the PlayStation 3s? You might want to talk about that a little bit. You know, why those are
video
special.
games aren't my expertise. I really look for a lot of help in my videos when I buy them. I know enough to know to buy them. Let's say, I'm dangerous like that, I guess. But as far as like electronics, depends on what you're looking at. Sansui is one of my favorite to find. If I can find like Sansui 9090 dBs or even the 8080, usually I can pick those up. The most I ever paid for one was $300, and I usually get them for around $150 to $200. It's $2,000 receiver.
Right.
Easy $2,000. And it's gone. And the only problem when you deal with high-end vintage stereo stuff, usually the person buying it from you is a collector. So you better describe every nick and, crusty part on that device. If there's any rust anywhere, any dents, nicks in the wood, whatever, you better be explaining that and taking very clear pictures of it, because you're going to get a return. They're buying it. They're paying actually more than it was valued back in the 70s, So that, I used to do a lot of reel-to-reels. I've kind of started to fade away from that a little bit, because they're 60 to 70 pounds most of the time. And I just don't want to deal with that size anymore. And they're very tricky. The belts rot on them very quickly. So you're looking, if you're not handy enough to try and fix certain things, my big thing is always think to yourself, how much can I get for parts? I don't ever look at an item saying, how much can I get if it's good? I look at it saying, how much can I get if it's no good? And that's why I want to base my price. I definitely want to be underneath that part out price. So that's important when buying electronics. Definitely, it's very important. Marantz, Sony's always good. Technics, there's Tanakai is a very good one too. But they're hit or miss. You know what I'm saying? I could show you a Sony that's $80. I could pull another Sony out and it's $600. So it's hit or miss. Just because it says Sony on it doesn't mean it's super high value. You gotta be careful, because the model numbers are a big difference. Wattage, HDMI is huge now if you can find that. I have a Denon I bought. It doesn't work, and it's still going to sell for $250. And that's what I'm saying. Those numbers you need to know in your head, kind of. If you're picking up stuff that's vintage and you're paying $20, $30 for it, I'd buy it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you go, let's say you find a record player. Okay, record players are simple. If you walk over to it and lift it, and it's like a dead weight, and it's 20, 25 pounds, that's going to be a pretty high-end turntable. If you lift it up and it's like a feather in your hand, there's some that are still valuable, don't get me wrong, but the old heavy plated ones are what people are looking for. So,
hey Mike, I'm curious, because I primarily do shoes, and I know for my setup, like I have a dedicated cleaning station and a photography area. With vintage electronics, I know you've got to test all these things. What does it look like as far as testing and photography, as far as selling vintage electronics?
Okay, so if I have to clean it, I take it out to my garage. I have a little air compressor out there and a blower and stuff like that, which a lot of times you do. Like I was saying before, you want to try and make these things. I just did a video on one I cleaned out like a week ago or something. As far as testing and video area, I can show you. I just showed Scott, so I'll show everybody else. There it is. That's my little house right behind me.
Nice.
Everything goes there and gets tested. And, like right now, I got that 360 there in the Dreamcast. So as soon as I'm done testing those, I'll put them to the side. I have all those, see all those 360s right there?
Mm-hmm.
Still got to, I got to test all this stuff. So when you're dealing with stuff like this, which I'm probably not going to get my camera, it's important to keep cables and lines and wires and all kinds of stuff on hand. So extras is always good. So that, like right now, I was just telling Scott, I don't have wires for the Dreamcast. And it turned on. I tested before the show started, Scott, so it powers on.
Nice.
I
Yeah.
ordered a $9 cable off of Amazon, so I can test it fully, because it's a big difference in price if it works. And for $9, it's worth it.
Now, taking everything you're doing with Walmart, Amazon, eBay, and Facebook, and all the other platforms, which one is your favorite to sell on, and what are you looking? How are you looking to expand in the next in 2022? So,
well, right now I'm doing Walmart Fulfilled, so that's mindless. Throw it in a box, ship it to them, and they handle everything. I don't worry about it. No returns. I don't deal with the customers. None of that stuff. Okay, just like FBA.
mm-hmm.
My favorite place to sell, and this is going to sound weird and my reasoning is probably going to sound even stranger, okay, is Facebook. I said it a year and a half ago, and I'm going to still say it today. It will be the number 2 platform or number 3 platform to sell on once they get their stuff together. Right now, I sell at probably just as much on Facebook as I do on eBay. Now, honestly, since we've last talked, which is, maybe a year ago, I forget when, whatever. I'm not going to
go. We've known each other for about 2 years, but I think it's been about a year since we all got together.
My numbers on eBay have dropped, and I'm fine with that. You got to remember, I don't rely on this for income, so this is like, side money. It's just extra. Most of it just goes right into a different account. But my eBay suffered because my Walmart increased. I had to, what I'm saying? You can't concentrate on all of them at the same time. You got to make sacrifices in certain areas to build another one. Now I have my Walmart built up to where I'm very happy with what we're doing. My wife's involved. She knows what we're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So now my eBay will start to build up again. So it's a give and take for me, because it's simple, Walmart, and eBay is a lot more difficult because of the work involved. Getting it, testing it, cleaning it, shipping it, whatever. If you watch my videos, you'll see my garage. I have probably $3,000 in inventory just in boxes, because I need every size box possible.
Right.
So as I'm shipping, I don't have to run around. I used to just use recycled boxes, but now you can't do that on Amazon and Walmart. You need unlabeled boxes to ship in. Right. So I have no choice but to buy. Now that I started Walmart Fulfillment, which is now going on 2 months, it's a lot different because I don't need to carry all the boxes I was carrying.
Mm-hmm. So, I have a follow-up question, Mike, because we were talking about this with Daily Refinement and on our morning calls, and he made the comment that he does not know anyone that runs both a very successful Amazon and a very successful eBay. He knows some people that kill it on Amazon and they may play around on eBay a little bit, but he doesn't know, and I can't think of anyone else either that is killing it on multiple platforms. Do you think it's possible? Now Walmart is not Amazon. It sounds like it's Amazon-esque. Do you think it'd be possible to have 2 killer platforms? Or do you see like Walmart being a bigger platform and eBay kind of being secondary?
See, that's a loaded question, Brian. You know it.
I've got to trust you, Mike.
I will never talk bad about another reseller on a video. I don't believe in that. Here's how I want to answer that. Okay, is I believe that diversity never ends sales. Meaning, if let's say, for example, all right, I'll give you my numbers today. just today. Okay, I did 8 sales on eBay. I did 19 on Facebook. I did nothing on Macari, and I think it's 197 on Walmart. Okay, now a lot of that I don't touch because it's already sitting there. Amazon, I've kind of pulled a lot of my listings for now because I had to focus and I didn't want to get too. And here's the thing: you got to be careful. You don't want to ruin one of your platforms. You don't want to get suspended or God forbid, banned. So you got to take it slow. But in my mind, when I'm out sourcing for, like, let's say I decide on saying I'm going to source for Walmart, okay? That's a very simple ride for me, okay? I can ride down to the store, pick up my stuff that I'm normally buying, and then a lot of stuff now being shipped into me, throw it in a box, set my shipping up so that they know what's coming in. And Scott, you do FBA, right? So you know how to do this.
Yep.
You put it all
FBM and FBA.
and you can just ship it out and never really have to worry about it again. You just get paid every 2 weeks. But I know plenty of people that do both, and Brian's right in a sense that once because they're two different platforms. You know what I'm saying? I mean, really think about it. When you think about eBay, the mentality is you're going to go to eBay for like collectibles and used items and things of that nature. When you think of Amazon, you think new, for me, I think electronics and things of that nature. Can you buy new on eBay? Yes, but if you look at the price differences, normally a new item on Amazon is going to be higher than it is on eBay. But people don't think that way. They think convenience. Yeah, Amazon's easy. It'll be here in 2 days and so forth and so on. And they also think they're buying from Amazon. They don't think they're buying from Scott or me. That's the biggest problem. I'm not
critiquing it at all.
No,
Like I know you're killing it. I'm just really curious because we talk about these type of things, and obviously people can handle multiple platforms. I'm just curious with all your experience and how well you're doing, if you think, like, it doesn't seem like, and even kind of what you're saying, like Walmart, it sounds like you're killing it on Walmart, and you have some other platforms that are secondary, and they're obviously doing well. But I'm just curious if my original question was like, is it possible for a person to, because we only have so much time to kill it on 2 or more platforms, and I just haven't seen anyone do that. And I'm not saying that you can't piece together an amazing reselling setup.
I like I said, and I agreed with you. I didn't disagree. All I'm saying is that Shopify for me is a game changer because it simplifies me. It puts me into those platforms. I don't have to go chasing around to those listings. So there, I can send it to all those locations, not worry about my inventory. Now, this is all going to be fulfilled by me, obviously. Okay. So anything that's fulfilled by Amazon or fulfilled by Walmart, you don't see it's not cross-listed or anything like that. It's there on their platform, sitting there waiting to sell. So I would say that for me, I like the excitement. I am a glutton for punishment sometimes, but and I did forewarn you that getting to where I'm at now took me months to do. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a simple like, oh, let me just start Shopify. It's a pain. And when I talk about it in my videos, I say this a lot. I was already ahead of the curve because I was already selling on multiple platforms when I started Shopify. If you're an eBay only now and thinking of expanding, then Shopify should be your next expansion. Put all your items there and then build off of that to Amazon or wherever else you're going to sell. I had to do it backwards, and it took a lot of time and work.
So with, like you said, you've been selling on multiple platforms, and like I've sold on a lot too. Where do you, and you kind of alluded to this earlier, but like, where do you see, and no one knows for sure, but like kind of where do you see reselling trends going? I know there's a lot of different platforms and whatnot. I know Scott and Alton are into on that auction site. it
why
seems
not?
like
Yeah.
in general, even with crypto and NFTs, that our society is kind of decentralizing, where there's a lot of different players. And when you have a lot of different players, it's like, I think it gets harder to figure out who is going to be the big winner. But are you able to forecast, or what are your thoughts about moving forward with reselling? Like, where would you recommend, if somebody was brand new starting out, what would you recommend to a new reseller to go, or how to operate?
It's going to be, that answer is always going to be eBay or Marketplace, because they're the easiest to sell on. Because a new seller, the biggest curve, at least for me, learning, was shipping. It seems like that's the big to do for a lot of new sellers, is how to ship and what to look for when you're buying an item. Because a lot of people don't think about it when they're buying the item. You know, if you buy an item that's 3 feet long, you got to ship this thing. You know, I sold a keyboard that was 6 feet long a couple of months back, weighed 88 pounds. You have to know what you're doing to ship stuff like that. You know, and thank God it stayed here on the East Coast. It was only, I think it was $108 to ship it. But I knew that ahead of time, and it was a high-end one. I was getting over $1,000 just for the keyboard itself, and I had, I think, $200 shipping on it. But yeah, I think that eBay is probably the best, and then Facebook Marketplace, because you got to remember, Amazon. What people don't talk about on Amazon is the ungating, what you're not allowed to sell, and it's getting worse, worse, and worse. The other thing about it is that Amazon almost uses us as pansies. Okay, they look for us to go out and find the next hot item for them, and then they jump you, and you can't compete with them.
That's terrible.
Right, Scott? I mean, you sell more on Amazon than I do, really.
Yeah, I get engaged in something, and then a couple months later, they knock me off the listing for some reason and take my listing down.
The Child Protective Acts and everything like that. I mean,
exactly, it's the worst.
You know, here's the thing. 2 years ago, we were selling weights like they were going out of style. Okay, 10-pound weights, you're selling them for $39.99. You're buying them for $10. Okay, it costs you like $8 something to ship them, because they went at a flat rate. So you're killing it. I mean, you're selling 15, 20, 30, 40 of these things a day if you had them in stock. They're a totally restricted item now on Amazon.
Right.
You can't sell them at all. But guess what? I can on Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because they're
and you said you could sell like DVDs and video games and a whole bunch of other stuff, right?
There's a couple of things that you can't sell, and I always forget what they are off the top of my head. But one of them I know for a fact is Walmart brand.
Mm-hmm.
You can't sell anything that's branded by Walmart on Walmart.com. You can pretty much sell anything else. There's no used at all, no refurbished, none of that stuff. It's strictly new products. And it's not for the beginner. That's for sure. Neither is Amazon, in my opinion. It's really not for the beginner seller. Some people do okay if you want to start off with like books or something like that.
Right.
But my thing is that Amazon really, you know, and I know a lot of people, and I know a lot of people personally that do great on the platform, you know, but they're in their own little. See, that's where you want to like niche down and be like selling like 3 or 4 things or whatever it is, and just keep pumping them out, you know, especially if they're hot. I just, like I said, I know plenty of people that sell on Amazon and got denied on Walmart. Okay. And I don't know what the difference was between me and them. Okay. But I got approved first try out. And it's so great because, like I said, I could walk into Publix, is our local supermarket here. Okay. And just when we're going grocery shopping, I'll be looking around, I'll be scanning stuff. It drives my wife crazy, but I'll be looking at it like, hey, I can make $4 on this thing. I can make 6 on this one, you know? So, but it's a different ballgame because those are the profit ranges you're going to work in. You know, you're really pulling that down. Your ASP comes way down when you start doing that stuff.
So you mentioned like applying to sell on Walmart. Like what are the basic requirements that they're looking for? Do you have to have a business license? Do you have to be an LLC? Can you be a sole proprietor?
You need to be a legit business with insurance, have your own website with products up there listed, your own privacy policies, your own return policies. They ask you, see, it's been a year and a half, so it's tough for me to remember everything.
Right.
They ask you for your eBay account and your Amazon account. Now, I don't know if it's mandatory that you have both, but they do ask for it. And then for me, when I filled out the paperwork, I had stopped, like right in the middle, and I just left it for like a couple of months. And I was talking to one of my buddies, and I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm going to finish this thing up. So I finished it up, sent it in, and I think it takes about, for me, it took about 7 to 10 days for them to send me an email saying you were approved and that your account was set up, and here's your information to access the account. Their interface is horrible. It's very glitchy. Like you'll see your inventory and all of a sudden disappear, it'll come back, disappear. It's like, what's going on here, you know? So in the beginning, what's really strange about it though, is once you're approved, you better start listing. They'll pull your account. They start to pressure you as far as like, hey, look, where's your listings? You don't have any listings up here, you know? So it's really something that once you get in, like I started with 1 item, then I went to 10, then I went to 200, now I'm at 400, and it's like, you know, I'm fine. But I know one person lost his account because he didn't have 1 listing. They pulled it. So it's a tricky platform. It really is. It's not for everybody.
Right.
I wouldn't recommend it to people. I love it because I'm like in the wild, wild west. You know, there's like right now I'm up to 37 listings. I'm the only seller. That's it. You're gonna buy it from me, you're not buying it. So, you know, stuff like that. And what's crazy about it is I just redid my photo area. Okay. I have like a little like doily like tablecloth cover on the top. Okay. If you go to Walmart, you'll see those pictures. It's embarrassing, man. I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, I gotta up my game on my pictures, man, because that sucks right there.
Well, yeah, so that's interesting if you think about it. Like we talk about, we were talking about photo quality today, and like eBay's quality listing report, they measure the number of photos. And eBay for Business listed a YouTube video today talking about the 4 key components of a quality listing, and photos always comes up. And they were talking about the white background and different things. But as someone who is a true retail seller with a legitimate business, and like you said, your photos are actually showing up on Walmart.
Right.
It makes me wonder, like what you mentioned, like what type of setup do you think you want to build for that?
Well, okay, so if you saw what I have behind me, I bought a light box, but I didn't like it because my electronics are a pain to get in and out, and it just didn't work. So I pulled it apart, and I just used the lighting from it, and I also used the backboard from it, and it seems to be working out really well. And then I use what's that app to remove Photo Room, yeah. So that's been working out really well. The pictures have gotten better since I've got away from the tablecloth and now use the little sheet that came with the photo cube. But yeah, so that has improved. And you can still see a little fading on the sides of the photos on Walmart, but at least it's clean right in the middle where the item is. So I'm happy with that.
Very cool. Well, I know we could pick your brain for days and days and days. Oh yeah, you went out of focus there. As we're talking about photos. But now we're at the point of the video where we're going to go do our what's sold, and I know you'll be on next week, so we'll have more questions for you, and if anybody in the chat has questions for you, you could definitely find Mike on YouTube and in here. So if you have any questions, you could go for there. So, but anyways, who wants to share sell of the week, I guess? And if
I guess I can start.
Okay.
Well, I wasn't prepared for this.
You can talk about it too. You don't have to show it. You can just talk about it.
They're all packed in at my front door, man. That's why the first thing I do when I come home is I pack.
There you go.
Well, we're scared of, you know, with your big electronics, like we know you're going to blow us away. So
Exactly.
No. There's nothing to be afraid of.
is that showing, Scott? My screen?
Hold on. Right now it is. Yep.
All right. So I this is on my YouTube. I made a YouTube video. I do a weekly top 10 sales, and I sell clothing and shoes, and moving more into shoes. But I remember when I picked this up, like I messaged Scott and Alton. I think Kevin was in the group back then. He's since left,
Who?
but Kevin, the Thrifting Lounge. But anyway, yeah, I was at a garage sale. I think it was October, November, and it was really interesting. At this garage sale, I picked up a couple of pair of like American Eagle jeans, nothing fancy. Like, and I went to go pay. And I saw some jerseys hanging up like on the garage door. And some of them were like brand new. There was a Nike Super Bowl 50 Peyton Manning jersey. And I asked her, like, how much you asking for the jersey? She goes, they're my husband and I just want to get rid of them. And she goes, oh, I have some autographed ones also. Oh, I'm like, oh, okay, let me look. And I looked, there was this one, a signed Archie Manning jersey. There's a signed Brett Favre jersey, and a signed Eli Manning jersey. And I'm like, well, how much do you want for all of these? And I got like 4 or 5 jerseys for $15 each. And I think this might be the last one I sold. And so I paid $15 for this, and that guy's got to be angry. I'm like, man, I would be so mad if my wife sold my jerseys, especially if they were autographed. Anyway, I picked this one up for $15 with shipping on eBay. It sold for $302. This is a signed Archie Manning jersey. It had a little COA, certificate of authenticity, and I probably had it for a couple of months. And the funny thing about this one is it actually sold. I accepted a best offer on it like a week before of like $160, and the guy never paid, so I relisted it. And then it sold pretty much at full price. Or I think he used maybe a 10% coupon that I have in my store. So that was my best sell of the week, turning 15 into 300 which for a clothing seller is, you know, that's a good flip.
Very nice. Nice one. I
Real
would take that any day.
I think we all would. You know, I mean, hey, 15 into 300 is always a nice one.
Yeah, if I could find a way to tap into that niche, just autographed jerseys, then
Yeah.
I'd be happy.
That's a hard one to be in.
That is a hard one. All right.
You get some season tickets to every football team out there with buy some jerseys.
Yeah, you have to know somebody.
I tell you,
Hey.
golf is always a good area. I have tons of golf stuff, so golf is another good one.
Yeah, we've talked a little bit about golfing as a niche. I that is one that if I was starting from scratch, I would be very serious about niching down, because
yeah, that's a serious area right there.
I mean, I see it on the clothing end, just like on the polo shirts, and the golf shoes. Like I listed a pair of FootJoys today, pre-owned for like $90 or $100, and they have really good sell-through rates. So, not to mention, Mike, like you're in Florida, right? So you got all the golf clubs and golf courses.
Yeah, it's a real good niche to be in. I love it. It's something I've played since I was 12, so I'm very familiar with what to look for. And it, for me, sells year round. There's no slow season. You know, it's always selling. I had a guy the other day hit me up, a Karsten Ping Eyes 2, I think it was. The golf clubs have serial numbers on the hosel, okay, which is where the club beats the shaft, okay? That's where that would be. So he said to me, he goes, "Look, I know you're not going to have my serial number, but can you tell me what it is?" So I went, found it, got it, sent it back to him. Because that's so unbelievably close to my set. So he bought it. So people are very, you know, they're, especially when you have like a full set, they're going to ask you, are the serial numbers all the same? So it's one thing that you might want to put in your listing right off the bat if you're going to have like a set. and say all serial numbers match. This is the serial number. You can actually call it and find out they're legit or not, because they're
Want to go
on.
see mommy?
So you have to be careful what you're doing.
And it would seem like that would be a recession-proof niche too, because typically people who are buying that have higher income. So is that pretty much your experience?
Yeah, and it's unbelievable. The I found, and I talked to Casey, Carolina Thrifter.
Mm-hmm.
He's big into golf, okay? And I found a set of Mazel, Mazel. Never heard of them before. Got them at a thrift store for $1 each, a full set, like almost brand new, okay? So I started looking them up, doing some research. Well, I found some listings that were selling Mazels for $80 a piece, each club, and I had a full set.
Wow.
So I'm thinking to myself, well, this has got to be $300 then, you know, because it doesn't equate.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do it times 10. That's not how it works, you know. So I listed them for $299.99 and $19 shipping, because a set of golf clubs you can normally ship pretty much anywhere for about $19, $20. And they sold in like 3 days. Okay. So I'm like, wow, okay, something I know to look for next time. You know, if I see them, I'll buy them, because I never heard of the name.
Mm-hmm.
Not 2 weeks later, I was in that same thrift store. It was like deja vu. Here's another whole set. And one of them, the 4-iron, was still in its plastic.
Oh no!
And I'm like, okay, grab that whole bundle up, and real nice. I was actually thinking about keeping it for myself this time. So again, I listed them, and this time I went a little bit higher, $349, and they sold in like a couple of days. So for somebody, in case you never heard of it before, I asked Bearded Thrift, not Bearded Thrift, what's his name? The one with Cat. I asked him.
Oh yeah.
He never heard of them. I never heard of them. And I'm not saying we're the gurus of gurus. I'm just saying that, you know, out of 3 people that sell golf a lot, never seen them, never heard of them before. But Mazel, Mazel.
There's your bolo.
There's your bolo. I've been liking to sell the kids clubs. They sell so quick for me. The USG A, whatever the ones are for the kids.
Yeah.
They're selling pretty quick. I get them at the bins all the time for like $5 for all whole set.
Here's the thing, Scott, with that. It's the father or the mother, or it's mostly probably the father most of the time, but it's, you know, the parents, let's say. I don't want to get in trouble here.
Mm-hmm.
That play golf. And they're like, well, I'm going to make my kid Tiger Woods. I need to get him a little starter set, you know?
Exactly.
And that's kids. I don't really source kids clubs per se, but I could see where the market would definitely be.
Well, I pick them up cheap and sell for $50-$60, and then shipping on top. It's like, it's a no-brainer. So, all right, let me show mine. It's in the sporting goods category too, so I'll go right in. I messaged everybody about this when I found this bat, but this is an Easton bat, and it rotates. That little thing right there, it rotates. So I picked it up from the bin. So it cost me like $3 or $4. This went out. I took a best offer of $100 within a couple days, just because it was just. I only saw one other sold listing, so I wanted to make sure I could sell it. But I still profited $90 some odd from this. This one bat from the bin. So that's my sell of the week. Yeah, but it went quick. So
it's amazing what people just donate.
Yeah, it is. But at the bins, brand new, and there was only one other sold one. So I didn't want to. I priced it high, but I was willing to take $100.
It had to be carbon fiber, right?
Yeah, I think it is. I definitely think it is. But like I said, it was really weird that there was no other solds for it, and I looked on Terapeak and everything else, and I only saw one sold in baseball season last year. So I didn't want to skip on the sale, so I took it for $100.
$3 to $100 all day, every day.
Exactly. Yeah, and those bats are so light. It was definitely a no-brainer. So,
well, it's like what I'm trying to do. Well, not what I'm trying to do. Yeah. Okay, so this is part of my 250 buy, right?
It is dark.
I showed Scott this earlier. So I bought.
Chipotle?
There was all those Xbox 360 and everything. I got 105 digital cameras.
No, okay.
all for $250, and they're in like pretty good condition. Not great, but pretty good condition. The screens all are pretty good. So, like I was telling Scott earlier, I don't have time to sit and list every single one or get chargers or anything like that. So I just bulk this all up, and like you guys are saying, I have it up 500. That's a $5 a camera, a little bit under $5 a camera because 105. So 498.6, okay, per camera. If somebody offered me 300 tomorrow, it'd be packed up and shipped out of his house so fast.
Right.
But sometimes you gotta say to yourself, is it worth? I would say that on average, you're gonna get probably $20 per camera, on average. There's some Nikons. There's a lot of Nikons, a lot of Samsungs, Sonys, a lot of that stuff. So on average, I would say 20. So at 100, that's $2,000. So I think 500 is reasonable. See if somebody buys it. We'll see. Maybe on the next show, I'll show that sale. How's that?
Yeah. Next week, come back with that sale.
But see, I made the mistake because I was going to. I just switched over and I did it on purpose, and I'm gonna probably fix it tomorrow. I only listed it on eBay last night because I wanted to try the new video thing, but then because I haven't seen anybody really talk about it that in depth, come to find out it takes 24 to 48 hours to get approved and listed on the listing.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
You do. So I didn't know this, I just kind of looked like, oh, look, I could do video now, which you could have done video before. It's not like it's a new thing. It's just in the listing now instead of down in the description.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert it because Shopify does have video option. So I'm going to test and see if I can push from Shopify with video to eBay with that video pushing over. I don't know if that's going to work or not because it's something brand new. So I'll give that a test run and then get this listed on, because I believe this will sell on Facebook. I truly believe.
Yeah, you'll find like I'm a big proponent in niching down. Like you'll find a camera person.
Yeah.
That's all they do, and so they'll have the setup to make that profit you were talking about. But in your case, you lot them together and you sell them. You make quick, easy money because you're doing so many other things. You don't need to maximize the profit on that because that's not just your one thing.
Well, this gets me out of my buy too. Mm-hmm. This clears out my money for the buy. So now I got all the Xbox and everything else that I know if working are $80 each or so. So, I just look at it as way too much work, and I'd have to order a ton of cords. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, somebody that already deals in it and has like chargers and stuff, and if you can charge this. Like, let's say this one here, right? If you could charge this and test it and it works, you could sell it without the charger and just say, look, go get your own charger, right? Mm-hmm. You don't have to have a charger for all 105 phones. You just want to make sure it's working when you send it out. So if I was to do it, that's how I do it. I break it down. It's like, all right, I need 15 chargers or whatever the number would be total, because there's a lot of same cameras in here. But just not worth it my time right now.
That's great. All right. I think that's going to do it for this episode. We're about an hour, so that'll make Alton happy. Alton will be back next week, and we'll have Mike back on, of course, and Brian. And if everybody wants to go find us on Spotify and iTunes, they can definitely find that on Reseller Roundtable. And hopefully Alton is feeling better where he can get back the episodes, start putting these episodes back up for the last 2 weeks. I think 2-3 weeks he needs to get on it. So let's push him to do that. But anyways, thank you everybody for coming. Thanks for everybody in the chat. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Mike. And we'll see you on the next one.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.